Peace and blessings is real. First and foremost, I want to take this time and give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh through His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, for allowing this word to come out. And I hope you sincere brothers and sisters is edified by this word. And we're going to come to you again with a sign of the end times biblical news. And in this edition, man, we're going to speak about blacks being affected by climate racism. That's right. In this word today, man, we're going to deal with blacks or so-called blacks or people of color being affected by climate racism. Now, I want you to pause for a second and think about the word climate racism. When it comes to climate racism, it's a better way of saying the choices and policies that result in disproportionate impact of environmental hazards on people of color, okay? Which we know would be more than likely blacks and Latinos, okay? What you see on the screen is a so-called black man, okay, dealing with the climate racism. It's so hot outside, he's using cold water to cool himself off. A lot of individuals like this cool themselves off because they live in homes where there's no air conditioners or central air. And a lot of these areas are concentrated in the poor poverty, ghetto concentrated areas, okay? And when you live in those areas under those conditions, you're going to be subject to climate racism, man. According to BBC News and other various news outlets, credible news outlets, man, there's a new study that shows black people living in the most United States cities are subject to double the level of heat stress as their white counterparts. And historic racism and segregation plays a major role in that. You see, people of color live in areas with fewer green spaces and more buildings and roads. That's also another factor. Now, using satellite temperature data combined with demographic information from the U.S. Census, the authors of both of those sources found that the average person of color lives in an area with far higher summer daytime temperatures than non-Hispanic white people. Now, I want you to pause and process that for a minute. According to satellite temperature data and demographic information from the U.S. Census, they have found that the average person of color live in an area far higher summer daytime temperatures, man, that they deal with. It says in all but 6 of the 175 largest urbanized areas in the continental United States, people of color endure much greater heat impacts in summer. You're looking at it on the screen, man. For black people, this was particularly non-shocking. Okay, researchers say that blacks are exposed to an extra 3.12 hotter in heating. When it comes to heating, it's 3.12 hotter temperature higher than the average in these urban neighborhoods compared to 1.47 increase of heat for white people. When it comes to so-called blacks and people of color, not only being exposed to heat leads to increased mortality, it's also connected to a range of impacts, including heat strokes, People of color often have experienced this. Heat strokes, loss of productivity in work, and impaired learning. That's a fact. Okay? And also, those in poverty and in the homeless, those that are homeless, suffer badly from urban heat exposure, man. Cold-blooded, man. What's the name of the word? Sign of the End Times, Biblical News, man. In this edition, we're speaking about blacks being affected by climate racism, man. This is according to Dr. Hoffman. It says, as our society emerges from the pandemic, which showed that these very same communities, which would be the urban black communities, okay, are hotter during the summer, are also those suffering the largest impact from COVID-19. Cold-blooded, man. So not only are you people of color in these ghetto urban communities are subject to climate racism, but they are the ones most prone that have impacted from COVID-19, man. Dr. Hoffman said it's essential that we ensure we are centering them in recovery. So climate racism, man, out of all the things that's happening in the world today, man, climate racism is another thing that points to you that we in a sign of the end times, man. In Job 30:30, it says, my skin is black upon me and my bones are burned. I think a person of color can relate to that. My skin is black upon me and my bones are burned with heat. So your skin being exposed from the presence of the sun beaming down on you with no access to shade is going to burn your skin. It says with heat, which is with pain and affliction, man. Cold-blooded, man. Lamentations 1:13 tell you he has sent fire from heaven that burns in our bones, man. Yeah, climate racism is real. If you've never heard of it, welcome. You did, because this is the time that we in, man. That's all I got for you, man. I hope you sincere. Brothers and sisters was edified by this word. And we give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh through his only begotten son, Yahushua, for allowing this word to come out, man. Stay prayed up and keep Yahweh in everything that you do. And, hey, listen, if you in a household with no air conditioner or central air, and it's the summertime, watch out, because climate racism going to catch up with you, man, and going to do a number on you, bro. Shalom.